Today I want to talk about perpetual victim mentality. How many of you know a person who has engaged in some form of negative behavior and they justify it by saying, well, this happened to me when I was younger, or my mother did this to me, or so-and-so did this to me. And it's like it gets to the point where they're now justifying this negative behavior and using it, what happened to them when they were younger, as an excuse to engage in this behavior. And they no longer take accountability of what they're doing. And even though they're no longer in that circumstance that caused the trauma and the pain, they're still using it as a crutch to continue to portray themselves as a victim and to continue to get away with negative behavior. And this is perpetual victim mentality. There are a lot of people who have undergone some form of abuse or some form of pain or trauma or even an injustice, and a lot of us have endured these at early ages. But the thing is, most of us are able to respond in a healthy manner by getting the help that we need to overcome those circumstances that are no longer hindering our lives. And the thing is, when people get stuck in this mode, when they're allowing something that happened, it could have happened many years ago, and it's no longer occurring in their lives, but they're still using this situation as a reason to not heal or move on. And this is because they haven't let go of the pain. They haven't forgiven the people who have caused this pain and this trauma, and they're reliving it on a daily basis. So it's almost as if they're still experiencing it. And it's like they're going through this every single day because they're continuing to think about this trauma. They're continuing to think about the pain and the injustice that was done to them. They're continuing to think about the wrongdoing. They're reliving this experience every single day. So every single day, they're walking around as a victim, and this has caused them to now respond in a negative manner, where to the point they can no longer engage in healthy relationships. Their decisions that they make in life are actually influenced by that trauma that they're still holding on to. So they end up making a lot of poor decisions. They end up engaging in a lot of negative behavior and activity, but they don't see the cause of the behavior as what they're doing. They see it as the trauma that happened, even though it could have happened 30 or 40 years ago. They're still holding on to that, and they have refused to grow. And this is something that happens, like I said, when you don't let go of this pain and you don't forgive. Many people are walking around and they have chosen, I say chosen because we all have a choice of how we're going to respond to certain situations. Yes, I can understand when you're younger and you face trauma, it affects how you respond to it. But when you get to an age of accountability, when you get to an age where you're mature and you're mature enough to know that, hey, I don't have to stay like this, or you've come to a place where you're responsible and you want to change, and you don't want to have this experience affect your life long term in a negative way, then you have that choice of what you choose to do, whether you're going to allow yourself to continue to be a victim and use this as an excuse to behave in a manner that is, unsavory, or are you going to overcome this and take ownership of now your own negative behavior and say, hey, I'm going to get the help that I need so I no longer have to portray myself as a victim based off something that happened many years ago. We can't control what people do in our lives. And yes, there are some people out here who have chosen to hurt us for whatever reason. But when that pain has happened many years ago, and it's been in a substantial amount of time that you should have been able to heal from that pain and release it, and it no longer controls your behavior, it no longer influences how you think or your activities or how you deal with others on a daily basis, it comes to a point where you have to decide, am I going to allow this to continue to impact my life in a negative way? Or am I going to release this pain? Am I going to release this trauma and this burden that I'm no longer experiencing, but it's still here in my head? So these people are no longer experiencing it, but they're still thinking about it every day. Every day they wake up, they're thinking about what so-and-so did to them 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 30 years ago. Every day they wake up, they think about the injustice that was done to them. Yes, it was unfair. It was an injustice, but you have the ability to overcome it and move forward, but you just choose to stay stuck. You choose to stay a victim because now you're using this as an excuse to engage in behavior that is damaging yourself further and actually hurting others around you. So that's how the cycle continues. Even when you look at abuse, people have used the excuse, oh, well, this happened to me, so-and-so did this to me, so now it's okay for you to do it to this person, instead of overcoming it, releasing the pain and getting the help that you need so you don't end up perpetuating that cycle. And so this is a person that's stuck in a perpetual victim mentality because they no longer accept accountability for their own actions, but they pass it on as a justification for what has happened to them many years ago. Instead of letting it go, going to God to get the help they need, going to get therapy or whatever else, praying, getting deliverance, and trying to adapt a better lifestyle and a better mentality, these people choose to stay victims. And that's the problem. Like I said, with a lot of people, it's that you want to stay stuck. A lot of people don't want to even forgive others who have hurt them. It's like, it says in the Bible, if we don't forgive others, then we're not to be forgiven. Why should you expect to be forgiven of the many sins you commit on a daily basis and not forgive another person? Some people have made themselves judge and jury to the point where they say, well, this sin is small, so it deserves to be forgiven, but this is something that can't be forgiven. We're not to decide on what type of sin is forgivable and unforgivable. It says in the Bible, God tells us to forgive others. It doesn't say based on what they've done to you. It just says to forgive them so he can forgive us. And we're supposed to release it. That's how the healing first starts. When you are able to look at that person and say, hey, I know this person did me wrong. I'm going to choose to forgive them, not just so they can be forgiven. No, forgiveness is something that helps you, because when you don't forgive a person, you're going to stay stuck in a perpetual victim mentality. You're going to continue to fall deeper down. It's like this person has moved on. 9 times out of 10, the person who hurt you, they're no longer thinking about the pain they've done to you. They're enjoying their lives or whatever else. They're probably off hurting the next person, their next victim. And you're sitting here every day suffering, angry, and destroying your own life and the lives of those around you because of something someone else has done to you many years ago, and they don't even know that they're oblivious of what they've done. Probably don't even remember what they've done. Probably don't even care. And you're sitting here destroying yourself because of that, because you want to choose to be a victim. You want to choose to stay upset at a person who has hurt you, who is probably no longer even thinking anything about you. And that's why you can't overcome. That's why you're stuck in this situation. I'm going to tell you something here. A lot of us have faced a lot of abuse and trauma, and a lot of painful, unjust things have happened to many people. And yes, if you think about the things that happened to you, yes, if you really truly think about it, you have every reason to be upset. You have every reason to want to stay stuck. But how is it helping you? You have to ask yourself, is this really helping me sitting here in this situation, moping about it? Is it helping me to sit here and drink this alcohol all day, every day, because I want to hurt this person who hurt me 20 years ago? It's not hurting them, it's hurting you. Is it helping them that I want to sit here in this abusive relationship because I'm angry at my parents because how they failed me, because they've done wrong to me? That's not hurting your parents. You're now hurting yourself and those around you. You're hurting your children, who you have to look at every single day. And it's like it comes to a point where you have to say, hey, I'm willing to forgive this person because I need to forgive myself. I need to let go of this pain to help myself, to free myself. Because if you don't let go, you can't obtain freedom. And if you don't obtain freedom, those around you are going to be held in your bondage because now they're suffering with you. And now you're making innocent people, a lot of you are out here making innocent people suffer and pay for something that happened to you many years ago, and they had nothing to even do with it. But you sitting here holding on to what mom and dad did, or what so-and-so did, your auntie and your uncle did, or what your old high school buddy did 15 years ago. And it's like you're stuck in this victim mentality, and it's not helping you. There is not one person on this earth that can do a wrong thing and let it just be over, just get away with it. Even if you do get away with it on this earth, I'm going to tell you right now, when you stand before God on Judgment Day, you're going to have to pay account for the things you've done. So even though that person it might look like they've gotten away, but they have not gotten away with anything. And a lot of times the person who hurt you, they're probably worse off than you are. They're in a more bondage than you are. They're miserable. That's probably why do you think they hurt you in the first place? They say misery loves company. Hurting people hurt people. And by you sitting here perpetuating the pain instead of letting it go and freeing yourself, you're only putting yourself further in a bondage. This is something that is damaging and destructive. You have to learn how to let go. You have to learn how to seek help to get over it and to heal.